Hey friends, it's Pastor Mike from Fellowship Church. Always good to connect with you on a Wednesday. Just want to say a word of thanks to you. It's great to have you back in church on Sunday mornings. We appreciate your support. I couldn't do what we're doing without you, that's for sure. Also appreciate all the posters that you folks made for this past Sunday. As a staff, we certainly felt the love, and we want you to know that we love you too. And we're praying for you. It's good to be a part of a church family. I want to share with you a verse today. It's probably a verse you've heard before, but you might not know all of the context behind it. It comes from the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah is both kind of a story and a prophecy book. It's found in the Old Testament. Jeremiah 29:11 says, God speaking, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Now, if that verse sounds familiar, it's because we've used that several times here at Fellowship on Sunday mornings. Maybe you've seen it at other times as well. It's also the theme verse behind the prison ministry we're involved in. God speaking, "For I know the plans I have for you. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." When we think of the God of the heavens saying something like that to us, it just makes us feel really good. But you may not know all the story behind it, because that word wasn't spoken from God to people when life was good. That was spoken to Israel at one of the darkest times in their history. They had just lost a war, if you could call it that. It wasn't much of a battle. Think of the first Iraq War, when Iraq invaded Kuwait and the U.S. and the Allies fought against them. The U.S. sustained about 200 casualties, about 200 soldiers lost their life. Over 100,000 Iraqis died. Not much of a war. Well, when Babylon invaded Israel, Babylon was the bully on the block. They sure didn't sustain a lot of casualties, but there were literally hundreds of thousands of Israelites who died. Everybody knew somebody who died in that war, family members, neighbors. It was a really, really dark day. And when the war was done, the Israelites who survived, most of them were taken off into some form of slavery in Babylon. You talk about a depressing time in Israel's history. And into the midst of that, God spoke through the man named Jeremiah, and God said, "I know you're hurting right now. I know you're disillusioned. I know your future looks really uncertain and unpredictable, but I want you to know that I know the plans I have for you, and they're plans to prosper you and not to harm you. They're plans to give you hope and a future." Well, friends, you may be living in a time of your life with everything that's going on in our world around us, viral pandemics, racial unrest, economic uncertainty, all of that. You may be living at a time in your life when it feels pretty dark and uncertain to you as well. Into that, our God would say, "I know the plans I have for you." You may not be too certain about these plans yet because you're seeing the world around you. God says, "I know the plans I have for you, and my desire is to prosper you and to give you hope." Friends, may you experience the hope of God today. May the love of Jesus Christ fill your hearts and fill your homes. May it give you a great sense of confidence about your future as well. Know that we love you. Know that we're still praying for you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care. God bless.